Oh, man. Heartbreak. Heartbreak is reserved for those who still have a heart left to break. The Phoenix Suns walked into Memphis and left everything on the court, battling with a fire that should have been enough. There are 10 reasons they should have won this game. There's 10 reasons they didn't. Was this one frustrating? No. Frustration faded long ago, replaced by something colder, something quieter. Losses are no longer surprises. They're checkpoints. Expected, absorbed, endured. The only thing that remains is how we choose to carry them. Hope? That ship has long since drifted beyond the horizon. And so, another night, another fight, another number in the loss column. 27 and 31, Matthew. That's where we land with the Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm not frustrated either. I think that there was a little bit of hope there tonight, though. It's like, oh, what is this? Pretty fun game. Go Suns.
It was. I mean, there was things to take away from this game that are positive, most likely not sustainable, but positive, and a grit and a determination that has been fleeting this year, has been present for a quarter, a half a quarter, sometimes a half, and we got it for the majority of the game. The better team won tonight. The Suns laid it all out there on the line, and it's, again, heartbreak. I'm not frustrated with this one. It's like I said, it's expected, absorbed, and endured at this point.
Well, writing the recap, I actually had the Suns winning the game the start of the fourth quarter. And
Ballsy.
You know that feeling I always tell you? I feel like the Suns are going to win going to the fourth quarter. I had that earlier in the season. I had that tonight. I really seriously thought they had this game. Everyone was playing fantastic across the board. 5-6 players was 20-plus points. It was insane. I was like, they have to win this game. And the fact that they had to go to overtime and they still started out strong in overtime and still blew it. I thought multiple times this game was in the Suns' hands, and it was. And I seriously thought they had it. But Memphis, I guess, is just that much better. Just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better.
They're not the greatest, but they're a little bit better than the Suns.
A little bit better, at least tonight. So welcome, everybody, to another edition, Suns Jam Session Podcast. My name, John Voida, managing editor, Bright Side of the Sun. His name, Matthew Lissy, senior staff writer, Bright Side of the Sun. And we're here to talk about this game as it pertains to the Suns losing yet another one. Again, their 31st loss of the game. So if you have a moment, if you have a kind heart, subscribe, rate, review, hit that thumbs up button if you happen to be on YouTube. And if you're on Twitter, head over to our YouTube channel. It's not that hard. You just go to YouTube and type in Suns Jam and poof, there we are. But I am going to have myself a nice Coors Light tonight to celebrate the 31st loss. The Matrix, number 31. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. And let's get into talking about the Grizzlies and the Suns.
Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Yes, it's an overtime loss to the Memphis Grizzlies in this one, 151 to 148. So just keep that in mind as we go through a lot of the statistical analysis that we will as we look at this game. It was a high-scoring game. It's probably, I haven't checked, but I assume it's the highest-scoring game by the Phoenix Suns this season. And as you mentioned, 5 players in 20 points. But the Memphis Grizzlies walk away with the victory, and that brings my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. You're the guy who thinks that Memphis has what it takes to win it all. What did you see from them tonight that fortifies that stance? Or are you deterred in any capacity in your belief that Memphis wins the title this year?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the season, my predictions, Memphis is a title. They're going to win the title, but they also have a guy in John Morant I thought would be an MVP. So that kind of fell short. So I think you can't really have one without the other because Ja really had to be that guy this season. He hasn't yet, But I did make another prediction with 25 games less, including this game for the Grizzlies. I thought that Ja could have his kind of like breaking out party tonight. He kind of did in the fourth quarter, but it hasn't been consistent. Like he was 0 for 9 from 3 to start this game. He's been so mediocre. And I think the kids say mid this year. And that's the reason they're an okay team. They're good. They're the top 3 seed all season long. Number 1, number 2, number 3, just flipping back and forth until OKC kind of took that over. But they seriously have everything everything a team needs to win a championship. They just need that guy in Ja to be that killer like he once was, and maybe bring him over the hump. Right now, they just don't look like it, but they're close. It's just they have a lot of everything but that one guy, I feel like.
Yeah, they have a collection of guys, and if Ja can turn it back on, this team does become dangerous. Now, obviously, Suns fans aren't going to sit here and say, well, Ja Morant had such a horrible game, and because obviously he hit the shot that sent us to overtime, and 7 of 25 overall from the field was Ja Morant, and 1 of 12 from beyond the arc. But that 14 of 14 from the free throw line is what made the difference. 29 total points for Ja Morant in this game, and what's interesting about the Grizzlies is this is a team that just annoys me because they push off. I mean, Jaren Jackson is like push off P all the time, just constantly instigating contact, creating physicality, and it doesn't need to exist, but they do it and they get the benefit of the call a lot. And I know that there's a lot of comments already in the chat about officiating and frustration with officiating. Yeah. I will say it went both ways. Just keep that in mind, Suns fans. I know that we always view this through the lens of the victim, like it's happening to us, but keep in mind, like from a personal fouls standpoint, the Suns were called for 25, Memphis was called for 22, and they shot only 4 more free throws than we did, but they hit 27 of 30, we hit 21 of 26. Free throws wins games. And you definitely, because obviously, like I was on the subreddit for the Memphis Grizzlies, and we'll talk about that later, but the whole subreddit was just them bitching about fouls. And at one point, like I even fought back, and I'll get back to that. I actually commented on an opposing subreddit today. I know it was dangerous. Okay, couple down votes, man. Very aggressive behavior.
Like turn around, there's just like fucking scratches on your neck.
No, they held me up at gunpoint. I'm like, Josh trained you well.
Yep,
Josh trained you well. But this is a frustrating team to watch, but it is also the type of team that you wish at times the Suns were like, that they emulated more, that they created contact, that they created physicality, that they put the pressure on the officials to make those calls. And the Suns do attempt to do that at times, but they are just not really good at doing that. They're not good at drawing the whistle. Ja Morant, he throws himself aggressively into opposing players and gets the benefit of the call the majority of the time. And I feel like if Booker were to do that, the player would just move and then he just go flying by, Yeah. So, that's what I see when I watch Memphis, an annoying team, a deterring, a team that just pisses me off to watch. And also like they possess this mentality that this Suns team doesn't necessarily possess, at least not on a consistent basis. No,
they don't. I think Ja's been doing that too since he started. Like he has been always just flinging himself in there. And I always hated it before. Every time the games were close, maybe 2 or 3 years ago with Ja, he would always just kind of get his body in there, throw himself up there, just throw the ball off the back of the rim, just see what happens. He would always get the calls and stuff, but it was just kind of ugly. And I always felt like it kind of threw their offense out of sync. Now he's a guy this year who's not really dunking or doing the things that he used to do. So they were relying a lot more on foul calls. And Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, Booker both fouled out. But Jaren Jackson Jr. is a guy that does usually foul out. Like that's his thing. Since a young age, he's always been that kind of guy. So the fact that the Suns held in there tonight against a Grizzlies team that struggled to keep their main guy, Jaren Jackson, on the floor, and with Ja just struggling tonight, it just shows you how still perfect the Suns team has to be to get in. Their defense obviously giving up 150 points in overtime. It's not going to be that great, but that's the way the Suns were supposed to win this year, just outscore the other team. And they were so close to doing that tonight, but this Memphis team can kind of adapt because they got scoring, they got defense, they got length, they got everything. They got athleticism, they got just big, tall statues in the lane. Like they got everything you want in an NBA team. It's just the fact that the Suns kind of played their own game and the Memphis just kind of matched them and just beat them at it.
And that's the challenge with this Suns team, as we've learned throughout the season. Again, the team that has the 27th overall defensive rating is the fact that they can have nights like tonight where they were fantastic offensively. This was a fun game to watch, Suns fans. If you didn't watch this and you see the final score, and if you go on Twitter, which is a fucking cesspool right now, like I highly recommend just not going on that
I
application.
deleted it today. I took the app off. I'm done
Smart.
again. I'm
Smart,
out.
man. It's getting so bad. Just because everyone's playing the blame game and they want, like, people are demanding accountability. I had somebody today is like, Beal, it's time to go in on Beal. I'm like, why? Like, what's the point of this? Like, do we feel better after we sit there like Beal's fucking ruining this team?
They
like,
do.
Yeah, I guess, and that's just what happens. And again, that subreddit for the Memphis Grizzlies, all they did was dog jaw the entire time. And I'm like, you know what? Every fan base dogs at times or talk shit about their best players because they expect perfection, and like nobody's perfect ever, and we need to start looking in the mirror a little bit before we become keyboard warriors when it comes to some of those things. But the defensive challenges that the Suns face, I knew watching this game, that watching this great offensive mindset and execution that the Suns possess this tonight, I'm like, the one thing that's going to kill them is their fucking defense. I know it's tried and true. They gave up 31 in the first quarter, but they scored 34. So you're like, okay. And then the second quarter, they scored 28. The Suns scored 28. The Grizzlies scored 27. And then that third quarter, the Suns scored 41 points. Crisp in that third quarter. Overall field goal percentage, they went 8 of 9 from beyond the arc in the third quarter. They end up shooting 70% from the field in the third quarter, but they give up 43 points. So it's like, and then 36 points to their 34 in the fourth quarter, and then obviously the 3 extra points, the 14-11 in overtime for the Memphis Grizzlies. And it's just one of those things where this is now the, I believe, 103rd time the Suns have given up a 30-plus point quarter, and the 40th time that they've given, or I'm sorry, the 10th time they've given up a 40-point quarter. So it brings me to my question. When was it over? So with all that being said, the defensive challenges, obviously, when did you feel this game was over, Matthew? Was it the very end? Was it when KD missed that final shot, or was it before that?
No, yeah, I think it was the very end. When KD was taking the final shot because he missed the one before to go to overtime, I didn't really have the belief. I didn't have that feeling he would make the second one to tie the game. I just thought it was over. I started completing the recap with that final score of 151 to 148 before KD took the shot. Now that's not my like bad feelings about just KD, as an NBA player. Just the flow of the game just seemed like kind of settle down more into the Grizzlies' favor to end overtime. And I was like, you know what? Does KD really want to go to a second overtime? So he missed it on purpose. No, I just don't think that they really had that energy, that mojo that they needed to really finish out the overtime. You can kind of tell then, but yeah, just like in that third quarter, they had the 10-point lead and then just giving up the 14-4 run.
Yeah,
that was really difficult to watch because it was just like that. I was talking about the Wolves game last night with the Thunder, and I guess what did they score 20 points with like 2 minutes left to come back down 20 or something like that? It was insane. Like the Suns went through that against the Rockets. I'm sorry, the Raptors. And then tonight, like they had that third quarter where all of a sudden the game flipped. They did a great job staying in the game. And that's why I just believe, like, going into the fourth quarter where they didn't let the game slip away, I'm like, oh, they might win this game. So it took me to the very last shot, man.
Well, taking a look at what some of the Jamsters are saying relative to when they thought this game was over. Let's see. The big warthog, when Beal didn't foul Ja on that late 3. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily because you fouled him. He was going to hit the free throws and they were down 2. Jones in since 80 said when Book fouled out, it was over. Michael Kolb is right there with you when we lost that 10-point lead. Juan Carlos Arenado, when Grayson lost the first free throw in the last seconds of regulation. That was a killer right there. Saul after the BS call before KD shot. Keith says in overtime the team looked bummed. And Solangelo Leyva, it was over when the refs called a jump ball instead of just playing back the possession. Agreed there, by the way. Agreed there. For me, the game was over. Were you watching this game on Suns Live? Were you streaming it?
No.
You just watched on Channel 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're watching on Suns Live, with like 15 seconds left in the game, you know how when they cut to the in-game camera where it's like in the 3/4 shot and you can kind of see the whole arena and the court. Suns Live cut to that, and they didn't stay off of that until like a minute into the overtime. So like the missed free throw by Grayson Allen, I saw from afar, like I was sitting in the fucking 200s. And then like the Morant shot, I saw that's when I knew it was over. I'm like, you know what? Not even the Suns programming can get this fucking game right. Like they gave up. They gave up. There's like, dude, we know what's going to fucking happen. Just put him in the back corner, next to the exit. It was unbelievable. So that's where I felt it was over. And it's tough because you want to go negative because you might be frustrated. Again, I'm not, but I think it's time that we talk about good things. Tell me something good. Tell me something good. Matthew,
I want to know what's up.
Tell me something good about this game.
I want to know that walkway you walked down, dude. That was like Zoolander-esque a little bit, Was it a walk-off? It was a walk-off.
That was me recording that in that back third of the fucking arena because I couldn't see the game.
Yeah, you're just like, I think the crew just gave up. They're like, this team's not supposed to be trying this hard. Like, they can't even keep up with the energy the Suns had because they're not actually worth it. I don't even know.
We want to go home.
Definitely not worth it. What was the question?
Tell me something good about this game.
Oh, man. Five of the players scoring 20-plus points. Like, the starting lineup, the first time this lineup's ever played, and they started tonight with Bol Bol, with Nick Richards, Kevin Durant, Beal, and Booker. Like, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. That really pushed his team in the right direction to start a game, which we're used to be down 0-8 or 0-9 or 10-0. Like, that's usually how we start games. Not this game. And that lineup was very fun to play with.
Brings me to trivia time.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
All right. I've got like a double trivia time. So I think I'll start with the stat.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
So as you mentioned, the Phoenix Suns started Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Bol Bol, Kevin Durant, and Nick Richards. How many total different starting lineups have they rolled out there now in 58 games?
I want to say 12.
It's 26.
This
was the 26th different starting lineup.
Oh my!
But I like this lineup, and if you were, tell me something good drop. That's my takeaway. Like Bol out there with Beal and Booker, no Tyus Jones ever again. I know that we're not a good defensive team, and we're not going to be a good defensive team. But I feel like that gives us a good offensive lineup. I feel like Bol Bol looked fucking amazing in this game. Offensively, again, he's got holes in his game. He's got holes in his defensive game especially. But he can showcase enough on defense. And I'm saying for these last 25 games, and 24 now, run him out there. Why not? Continue running this lineup out there. See what we got. I believe we have his bird rights. We can offer him something extra next year. And I think that's plausible with Bol Bol. And I'll get your thoughts on that. But again, it is trivia time. So let me ask you this, okay? The Suns, as you mentioned, had 5 players score over 20 points in this game. Kevin Durant had 26. Bol Bol had 23. Bradley Beal had 24. Devin Booker had 28. And you had Grayson Allen having 21 off the bench. So my trivia time to you is the Suns last did this on November 10th, 1990. Name the 5 players who went over 20 points in that game.
Kevin Johnson.
November 10th, 1990. So Kevin Johnson is correct. He had 23. This was a game against the Nuggets when the Suns won 173 to 143. Regulation.
Dan Marley?
They had 50 in the first and 57 in the second fucking quarter.
Dang, dude.
Dan Marley, yes, 21 points in that game. So you have 2 of the 5.
Danny Manning?
Danny Manning was not on the team till like 96.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm gonna mess shit with that. Elliot Perry, he's later too, right?
Yeah, he's later as well.
It's gonna be a while. Forget this one. Tom Chambers.
Tom Chambers is correct. He had 20 points.
20 points.
And the first 3 that you just said were the 3 starters who scored over 20 points. So the other 2 were bench guys.
Eddie Johnson.
Eddie Johnson, no. He had 12 in this game, 6 of 9 from the field for 12 points. 173. That's fucking nutty. They had 107 points at halftime to 67, and they just kept pouring it on. Like they just fucking against Walter Davis, mind you. Walter Davis was playing for the Nuggets at the time.
So we got in the chat. Jeremy says Sabalos.
Cedric Sabalos actually led all scorers. He had 32 points, 12 of 15 off of the bench, 0 of 0 from beyond the arc. By the way, the Suns scored 173 in this game. They were 0 of 2 from deep.
Wow, dude.
Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts. What
the
about
last
Horny?
one's a tough one. The last one, everyone's saying Hornacek. It's Kenny Battle. Kenny Battle had 23 points in that.
Okay.
So there's
That's
your
the
trivia
last time, dude. That's a long. I would think
It's a long time
it
ago.
would have happened in the Nash era. Just
You'd
with having
think
those
so.
three, maybe two guys. Well, they never played the bench, so never mind.
Yeah, you have to play more than It's
Wow.
5 players, everyone off the bench. But there you go. So I mean,
That is
kind of nutty,
crazy.
but
And a loss tonight.
yeah. Well, yeah, we didn't beat the Nuggets like we did back then. But rekindling our conversation around Bol Bol.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker. That's right. 23 points for Bol Bol on 8 of 11 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown. He had 8 total rebounds, 1 assist, 2 block shots. What do you see from Bol Bol tonight? Should we continue to play him just the rest of the year? Just fuck it.
Yeah, having this lineup go out there, I think everyone's excited. I think they were very excited to have Bradley Beal obviously back in the starting lineup, but Bol Bol back in there too. It was nice because I think what he brings to this team is obviously something that you want. It's something of kind of like a little bit of a future, something that you can maybe look forward to next year if he can build upon his success to end the season. So it's gonna start with him being in the starting lineup to get those minutes, to be consistent. But he's fun in games like this because he's always kind of the guy that's outlier. He's just by himself in mid-range. Everyone kind of just forgets about him. And the most frustrating part,
It's definitely frustrating.
Dude, this is frustrating. Him actually being wide open to the game ending a field goal by Kevin Durant. He's wide open by the bucket. With Ja Morant in between him and the bucket, all you have to do is throw it up to that dude.
Yep.
And it probably would have been a game winner right there. So that was the frustrating part tonight. But everything else he did was great. I think he had a few fouls that were really bad there because he's just so bad laterally, of course, on defense. But what he brings is just kind of some of the versatility. When he hits a shot, he gets hot, and you can kind of count on him just not screwing up for a little bit. Tonight, there wasn't a lot of screw-ups tonight. So I'm excited to see what he has in his bag for next game. And I just want Bud to be like, let's keep this lineup together. Because a lot of Suns fans, like you said, are kind of giving up on this team right now. But this lineup just looks good on paper and plus on the court.
Yeah, it's definitely true. The Suns giving up part. I think it was Mike V. Hill from the Timeline who tweeted out something. Gosh, I'm trying to find the tweet real quick because what he said was actually 100% true as it pertains to who's actually watching the Suns at this point. He's like, so this is what, or Sam Cooper from the Timeline said, y'all got to remember about Suns discourse. The level-headed fans are checked out. Those who remain either feel an obligation to keep watching the team, are certifiably insane, or a mix of the two. Enjoy the asylum for the next 2 months. It's I'm a mix of the two. But when it comes to Bol Bol, obviously he played tonight because Memphis is a big team. When they start Zach Edey and you have Jaren Jackson at the 4, you just need length, not necessarily size or girth. You just need length, right? It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. But ultimately, I think it's the right move moving forward because of the most important aspect and something we talked about a couple of games ago. Last time Coach Budenholzer pulled this lever, it opens up Kevin Durant from to be the 3. And I've always, in my heart of hearts, that's where I've always think that he would be the most productive. Not only because defense or offensively doesn't matter. They're going to put who they want to put on him. But defensively, it gives you more length at the 3. Somebody who can come off weak side and block shots, and somebody who is going to match up potentially based on how you want to dictate your defensive matchups on smaller players who are less physical. Now, obviously tonight, Desmond Bane, the Memphis Grizzlies are an overly physical team, but I like that. I like that matchup for Kevin Durant. I like Bol Bol being out there and being forced into these game situations and these game scripts where, as you mentioned, defensively, not the greatest laterally, but these are opportunities to continue to learn. If this is a guy who we are going to bring back next year, I definitely want to use these last 24 games as just an opportunity to see more of what he has and see if it's something that's applicable and if he has the upside of truly being a starter in this league, because offensively his game is it's pretty polished. His offensive game is pretty polished. His shot, albeit a little slow, the fact that his release point is at like 10 feet above the fucking floor, like you're not blocking that. So be it as slow as you want, just don't get hit on the gather. But I like what I see from him offensively. I like his aggressiveness. He had an amazing sequence that's going to get lost in all this because we lost. But at the end of the game, he hit a very vital jumper when the game was tight, and then he went down on the other end, deterred a shot, and then got a rebound on the same shot that he forced to be missed. That's big boy stuff. That's reaching down and grab you Johnson stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think there's a lot of value in him too. Like not just offensively, but just the fact that he is that long, just defensively, he's kind of scary down there. I think for anyone that's going to go to the rim. But I don't like to just play him just because of his size and how long he is, because I feel like you said, his offense is just so great where he can really shoot from all over the place. And I just think if he can get some confidence, there's something there. The beginning of the year, I didn't really want to see much from him because I thought in the preseason and stuff, he didn't look any different.
He had a rough preseason, that's for sure.
Really rough. And obviously didn't play a lot in the first half of the season at all. So he needs to be in there to start the game. He needs to have the consistent minutes, kind of build upon this. Otherwise, we're just going to get kind of the same Bol Bol. If he misses next game or something like that, maybe doesn't play, comes off the bench, just try to keep things a little consistent for these guys, because there's a lot of belief around him from other guys. Like he's hanging out with Devin Booker in Denver and stuff with the Kardashians and shit. Like that's a lot of confidence right there. So it'll translate to the floor where he can actually be who he wants to be, a guy that just plays randomly, but he just can make
perfect.
Like his touch around the rim, his touch from the floaters, like everything is just, it looks weird sometimes, but sometimes it's just so beautiful. And you just want to see more of it and more of it and more of it. And I think the fact that they can get out the leads like this in the first quarter, or just have an offensive explosion led by him, where he had the 8 points in the first quarter, like that's something to build on. And I think it can't go away. The Suns have to build off of this and continue to keep Bol Bol in that starting lineup.
I think it's productive going into next season. I think it is, because even if you do some roster shuffling and you come up with a different deck next year, the confidence that you can potentially instill in this guy and the faith that you can instill in this guy could be transferable to next season. And we know injuries occur, and there's going to be an opportunity potentially for him to step up next season, and valuable minutes are being provided to him right now. And again, I like what I see. And it's like the second consecutive season when I'm like, nah, Bol Bol ain't the answer, man. He ain't the answer. Then I watch these games, and when he gets an opportunity, I'm like, dude, he's starting to become the answer. And one of my running theories was he does bad against like really good teams. You know, that's one thing. I was watching him play. It was against Toronto, and he was having kind of a decent game. I'm like, yeah, he's having a good game. But you know what? I think it's just simply a result of the fact that he's playing a poor team, and he's one of those guys who excels against poor teams. But you go and you look, again, his season high was tonight. He had 19 points was his previous season high. That was against Denver. He had 18 points against Memphis. He had 15 against Houston, 12 against Utah. And you go to his like top rebounding performances, and my computer freezes as I'm looking these up, because why wouldn't it? Because I feel all right. So Memphis, he had 14 rebounds last time we played Memphis. He had 7 when he played Denver, and then a bunch of fours, but blocks. 4 against Memphis, 4 against Denver. So his best games have come against quality competition. Now, obviously, Coach Budenholzer is using him against Memphis because he knows that it works. It's worked against Denver. So the goal now, and the thing that we need to watch for as fans, is seeing how he plays. Like, does he get the start against New Orleans? We have 2 games against New Orleans this week. Does he get the start, and how does he play? That's the kind of next step, is can this be something sustainable?
Yeah, no, it has to be. And I think I'm right there with you. Even last season, I was all for Bol, like the whole season. And then I just kind of gave up. The fact that he's showing some life, it just kind of just shows that he still does care. Because I think we kind of worry about that sometimes with the guy. Does he care? That was the thing coming into Phoenix. Does this guy even care about basketball? But the way he's playing tonight, and the way he's even grown confidence in his shot, different areas on the floor, it shows that he is caring. He is trying to make an effort out there.
Just so you guys know, we are at that part of the season where we're just excited about Bol Bol games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Something else to be excited about.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Big Dick Booker.
And she said, you're not the only one, but you're the best, Bradley. Bo, bo.
So yeah, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, that backcourt tonight, very, very productive. Combined for a total of, let's do some math, 52 points and 21 assists. 11 assists for Bradley Beal, 10 for Devin Booker. Now, granted, Booker had 5 turnovers and 6 fouls, so not a great complete night by Devin Booker, but we're getting what we wanted to see out of this duo, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I think it started really the last few games. Once Beal came into the starting lineup, he kind of took ownership of just handling the ball more, right? I think we were kind of skeptical at first, but you saw in this game, Bradley Beal is like the actual point guard. This is, I feel like, the first game. Jamsters, John, let me know if I'm wrong. I think they've been the most consistent with Beal having the ball and just kind of running the offense, right? From start to finish.
I think
it was
so.
just
It
completely
feels
Beal's
like it.
game. And Booker was just playing the 2 guard, playing his type of game. And there were some turnovers, but it was a different kind of turnover between like his and Kevin Durant's. Like his were turnovers, but they weren't as costly, it seemed like, Booker's. But I'm just saying that backcourt was fluid. It was quick to the point, quick to the screens, quick to whatever they want to do out there. They looked like they were actually playing together and feeding off one another. I haven't seen that, I feel like, ever.
And perhaps it's because the shots were falling. I mean, maybe it feels obviously a little bit better. The Suns shot 53% from the field and 56, almost 57% from beyond the arc in this game. They were 21 of 37. I mean, you think that we just lost to Toronto. They went 20 for 35 from beyond the arc. We shot 57% from deep, and we lose, which is frustrating and disappointing in its own right. But I like what I see from that backcourt. And again, that was kind of my case. Like, listen, Beal's going to be here next year. Booker's going to be here next year. If we want this to be a consistent starting backcourt, we need to allow it to be a starting backcourt. We tried the Tyus Jones and Devin Booker in the starting backcourt thing in an effort to get Booker to play his natural position. We've moved Beal kind of into the Tyus Jones role. Tyus Jones, we can launch into the fucking sun. I don't ever want to see that. I don't want any more Tyus Jones minutes this year. Absolutely, positively, fucking zero. Give all of his minutes to Ryan Dunn. Give every one of them to Ryan Dunn.
Monte Morris, bring him back. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was questionable for this game, but I'd rather see Monte Morris than Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones, good player, man, great leader. The people in Memphis loved him. You know, they were mentioning it. It's just he became a Sun. Like when you become a Phoenix Sun, you automatically just like it's like you ever play 2K?
Yes, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And so, like on 2K, there's certain things and attributes that you can add to a player. Like if you're doing the my team or whatever, and you put a certain shoe on a player, they all of a sudden get like +7 shooting from beyond the arc, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you put on a Suns jersey, you get like a -7 to like all your vital stats.
You totally do. And it's not just him, it's everybody.
No, it's anybody. It's the jersey. Like that's what we don't realize.
I still think Tyus can be. I still have a little bit of belief in him. He finally hit a 3 after missing a 3 the last 2 games, not making one.
Adorable. That was his only point.
I believe in him to be a backup and be okay. And like they keep talking, I think Gambo
should be.
Gambo was talking about on the Kevin O'Connor podcast about what happened to him, right? But like he was so good in Memphis, but Memphis, that team was so good without John Morant. Like they were just built to have a guard like Tyus. Like that offense was slowed down.
But they used him as a primary point guard, a facilitator, a higher usage rate than 15% usage rate here in Phoenix. He'll touch the ball, but he doesn't. It's they don't run any offense through him. So what's the point? Yeah. He's coming in off the bench instantly. When he came off the bench, I think it was in the second quarter, maybe it was the third. Looking real quick. Yeah, instantly. He was in for like 2 minutes and they gave up the lead instantly when he was in, you know, and I wrote it in my notes. I was like, this is why, like, we're not running offense through him, and defensively he's getting cooked. Just give those minutes to Ryan Dunn, please, for the love of Jesus. Like, I've gone from writing articles about how Tyus Jones shouldn't be a starter. Like, over the next week, I will write articles that Tyus Jones should donate his minutes to Ryan Dunn. Like, he just step up, be the guy. It ain't working. Give us a chance to see more of the rookie who has more of a defensive mindset, has length, and can at least try to body some people up as they're driving by him. As Tyus is just he's like, oh shit, that guy went right by me, man.
Yeah, I think it's Gillespie, though. It's crazy that he's not getting minutes, but maybe it's just because obviously he doesn't know the offense. I don't even know. I just feel like a guy coming off the bench like Gillespie would be so fun to watch with this.
It'd be fun to see.
It'd be unique for a few games because like when it's like the new car smell, when they come out there, they'll like help you win a couple games. And then like Nick Richards when he first came, like we looked good.
Oh yeah, he had like 20 rebounds almost.
Yeah, but like
he missed that 20th rebound. He's never been the same since.
Yeah, he got hit in the head by the 20th rebound, so he got knocked the fuck out.
And I see Peter Papalardo. He says so lack of a point guard was not the problem last season. I'll say this. I don't think it was the primary culprit that we make it out to be. If you look statistically, especially at the beginning of fourth quarters last year, yes, we needed a backup point guard. We needed a Tyus Jones to steady the ship at the front end of the fourth quarters. Because if you look at the fourth quarters last year, the Suns were a negative 195 overall in the entire quarter for the entire season. The second worst team was the Heat. They were a negative 95. But Booker and Beal, if they played in the fourth quarter together, were actually a plus 23. It was bridging those minutes to get to Booker and Beal again that hurt the Suns. And that's where Tyus Jones could be productive. That's where Monte Morris can be productive. What we did is we decided to promise him that he'd be the starter in the offseason and then rode with it all year long until we got to like game 55. We're like, dude, it ain't fucking working, man. Like, shit, we shouldn't have promised this guy the fucking farm.
Yeah, and plus we have Bud as a coach now. Who was our coach last year? Rob, where he's like really heavily.
Rob Pelinka.
Yeah, Rob Pelinka, who was our head coach, defensive minded. Like we have an offensive coach now. So I think the whole point guard thing, if maybe Budenholzer was our coach last year, we wouldn't have had such an issue with turning the ball over in the fourth quarter collapses as much, right? I think that might have been the reason. It's not Tyus's fault, but now he's just kind of like that off guard now. It's going to have to hit some wide open shots or when he comes in, try to run the offense. But there's some passes tonight. Yeah, there's some passes tonight that he had this one running to the lane. He tried to throw it back to KD.
There's nobody there.
And there was no one there. And it was a turnover. So I don't know what's going through his mind right now.
He had 12 minutes played, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. And overall was a +3. Actually, the biggest negative was Bol Bol. He was a negative 12.
I still believe in Tyus, so I'm rooting. The next 5 games we're gonna get something. I feel like.
All right. I'm waiting on you.
While we're in the lottery.
Yeah. While we're watching Houston take our pick. The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout. So I was in Memphis this evening, hanging out on the subreddit for the Memphis Grizzlies. Great barbecue. Really a fan of Memphis barbecue. Never had Memphis barbecue? Ooh, man.
I know. Do you have to go to Memphis for Memphis barbecue? Like New York pizza? No,
dude. Like KFC, I think has like a flavor right now. I don't know.
Oh, do they?
Like I think El Pollos Hermanos has a. Yeah. El Pollos Hector Salamanca. I literally walk around the house all day just going Salamanca.
I always go yo. My girl gets so mad. Nicole, she hates Jesse. Dude. All, yo.
That's maybe. Oh man, we need to have a good conversation about Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad like it's 2022.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to start watching obviously next. She hasn't seen it, but I think I like Better Call Saul better. I've always I just never said about rewatching Breaking Bad. I'm like, yeah, Better Call Saul.
That's where I'm landing, and I can tell you why. Characters. 2 reasons, and you just brought up a great reason. I don't have to hear yo every 10 minutes.
Because they're characters. There's no character that's annoying. Name one character that's annoying. No character is annoying in that show. That's
the best part. And the challenge with Breaking Bad, I feel after rewatching it again and just becoming so frustrated with Walter White and how he just continually gets in his way. Like it could be a nice, easy show if Gus Fring tells him to do something. He's like, okay, I'll do it. I just need to make some money because I'm dying of cancer. But he's like, no.
I know they always try to.
But that doesn't happen in Better Call Saul. It's not like
yes.
Like you ever seen Meet the Parents?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Meet the Parents is like one. It's comedy, but it's one fumble after a next. Like he continues to fuck up. That's all Walter White does. He's just a massive fuck up.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like Better Call Saul, it's more indirect, and he's trying to help people, but he kind of does it in a shady way. And it's. I'm really enjoying it.
A lot of holes.
I'm in like season 4.
Show. Yeah, it's still good. A lot of holes in it, but also it's kind of like a Three's Company episode where like something's happening in one room. Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like you always know like what's gonna happen. You can kind of figure out what's gonna happen by the way they get themselves in trouble. But
yeah,
I don't know. But no, I I like Better Call Saul for sure. Better.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I can't wait to watch it now.
So that being said, los pollos hermanos, these are the things that were being said in the subreddit on the Memphis Grizzlies. KD, please come to Memphis this summer. Please, immediate contenders. And there was a ton of comments, obviously, watching Kevin Durant dismantle them at different points of the game. KD, 26 points in this game, 8 of 19 from the field, had 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, the 4 turnovers. But throughout the entire subreddit, the Memphis Grizzlies fans were just expressing their love and admiration for Kevin Durant, how they want them to come there. How do you think Kevin Durant would fit into that team?
What are they going to give up, though? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
If they give up their youth, or they don't really have they have what's that one guy in the starting line? Wells, he's pretty good. He's young.
Yeah,
I think he's
Bane. I feel like would be a part of the deal.
Yeah,
because Kevin Durant on Memphis makes sense because he would like I was just saying how he looks great in Phoenix when he gets an opportunity to play at the 3. You have Zach Edey, you got Jaren Johnson Jr. and Jackson Jr. And then you would have KD at the 3. Like that's with Ja in there. Like that's some lethal ass shit.
That makes sense.
They'd have to give up. I'm guessing Bane would be a part of that. Maybe Santi Aldama, picks, obviously.
You know what? I think if it was just picks and maybe Wells, something like that. I want to give up Bane though. I feel like they need him for sure. Him and Ja are just
but from a contractual standpoint, I feel like his contract.
I know.
Good. I don't want Bane. How about that?
Yeah, I was like, I don't. That doesn't sound. I don't want any of that because we obviously already have 2 shooting guards. So yeah.
All right. Continuing in the subreddit, these sunscreens, which is kind of funny, sunscreen. These sunscreens are egregiously illegal. Ja is really just running at people and jumping and hoping it works out. Kind of what he's been doing for a while. Like, they recognize what I see. He's just running into people, and he jumps into people. Like, imagine you're walking down the street and somebody jumps into you.
Yeah,
and they're like, "It's your fault." You're like, "What?"
It's like, he's trying to crowd surf.
I'm just
like
trying
a
to get some
show.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. Plumlee has yet to set a legal screen. All right, so here's where I responded. Somebody said, "F these refs." And I said, Phoenix 5 fouls, Memphis 0. F these refs. Got downvoted. Because it was at the point where in the second quarter, there was like 7 minutes left, and they were already in the penalty, and they're like bitching about fouls. I'm like, shut up.
That's their whole game.
Hey, front office, I hope you're happy with this. Thanks for nothing. I thought they were talking to the Suns front office, but I realized they were talking to the Memphis's. This is the 3rd seed or 4th seed, and they're just like losing their fucking minds.
But they know they don't have enough. So
that's why they want Kevin Durant.
The NBA, the whole rest of the media is that Memphis is maybe they can be upset in the first round. So fans can feel it too.
Bol Bol showing the alleged point guard on our team what happens if you hit a 3. Defenders have to close out on you harder, and following possessions you can blow by them. Because Bol Bol hit a 3. And then the next possession, he pump faked and he went in. And obviously, as I mentioned before, Ja Morant, 1 of 12 from beyond the arc. So they were just dogging Ja. Yeah, just take another fucking 3, dumbass. Like they're having a good old time. This is kind of a funny comment. Piss off, Grayson. You got to remember, Grayson Allen played in Memphis. So like there was no like Grayson slander in this one. The only one was somebody brought up the fact that he missed like a couple free throws, and then I think the Denver Nuggets hit like a buzzer beater against them because of it, and they're like, "I'll never forget that." And everyone like commented like, "Yeah, fuck that game," it's like that's their lasting memory. This bullshit so fake, bruh. Jalen Wells, the headband snatcher, because he took Booker's headband off, didn't get called for a foul. Jalen Wells, rookie of the millennium. Not just the year, the millennium. Ja SGA Morant. So even they're calling it. Booker is softer than baby powder. Take your foul and play, chump. Like chump. Good one. Chump. I'll say this every time we play the Suns. As a Kentucky fan, I fucking hate Booker. And probably my favorite comment of the night. I don't know why. Plumlee, a dirty loser. The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. All right. Anything else you had in your notes? I'm pretty sure you didn't take notes because you were covering the game for Brightside. But is there anything that we didn't cover that you like to? Would you like to talk about like Grayson Allen? Yes. Okay. Let's do it.
Hi, Barbie.
Grayson Allen was fucking shit up in the fourth quarter, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc in the fourth. End of the night, 30 minutes played, 21 points, 6 of 9, giggity from beyond the arc. 3 assists, 4 rebounds as well. Good game, solid game from Grayson, man.
Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff went to waste tonight. I mean, we haven't had a really solid, really good Grayson Allen game where he hits 3 threes in a row. It's just scorching. Like, that's always fun. I think it's fun when he gets – I don't think he ever gets those calls, does he? On the threes when he's like –
no,
fouled right after he swishes one home. Is
because he got fouled in that corner.
Man. Yeah, he definitely did. And so the whole foul thing, this is the first game this year where I was kind of upset with the refs. I think usually just the whole game I'm upset with the Suns, so I don't notice. But this is a game where the Suns actually had a lot of energy, and this is a game they could have won. So I was kind of pissed off about the reffing. I think that Grayson getting upset is just always fun with the refs, man. Last game, like when he was he didn't get a foul there either. He's just like that to the ref walking away, like I don't know, like my aunt Sia does that stuff. I don't know what that is. Matthew. So it's a cute game by him, man. I'm glad he's a little bit back, and he was angry today in the fourth quarter, man. Like,
I wish he would have hit one more free throw.
Frustrated as hell with all this losing.
One more free throw. That's all we needed from him, and then who knows what would happen. Typical Suns game, motherfuckers. Goddamn son of a bitch, motherfucker.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, reminder, subscribe, rate, review, hit the thumbs up button. Please, if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you have it in your heart to do so. In fact, I'm going to look up real quick and see if anybody's done that recently. And taking a look at it, February 17th. Ooh, that's not that long ago. All right, here we go. This one's a 5-star review from Wrestling Fan 69. Giggity. It's 5 stars. It says, the best and hilarious. I love how much they understand the plight of the Suns fan. I'm currently doing a deep dive from around when the team acquired Durant, and it's all A++. Yeah, the reason we understand, and thank you for that, Wrestling Fan 69, and your comment. And again, if anyone else does a 5-star review, we'll read it right here on the pod. The reason we understand the plight of the Suns fan is because that's exactly what we are. Long-suffering Suns fans. All right, Matthew, who are you giving your jam star to?
Well, I know they're both watching right now. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker right behind Kevin Durant watching us post-game right now. Mm-hmm. I do give the edge to Bradley Beal. I think tonight was just the most awesomest, perfect game by Bradley Beal, man. He was just incredible. He really stood out to me. He was a guy that really separated himself, played team ball, but was just a really great value for the Suns, moving forward after this game.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the Jamsters, Keith Nettles, Bol Bol, Explicit Intelligence, Bol Bol, Suns Fever tonight. I give it to Bol Bol. Michael Cole, Bol Bol, Bol, No Law Bol. A lot of Bulls in there. Jamstar from Saul equals Bol, Beal, Katie, Book, and Allen in that order. And then Armando Marin Jr., Bol Bol, are you kidding? I kind of agree with you on Bradley Beal, although he was 9 of 20 from the field in this one. But the 24 points, the 11 assists, it's just the energy he was playing with, and the grit and that stop motion thing that scares the shit out of me every time he does it. He starts driving and just stops on a dime. The defender goes flying by, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna blow an ACL doing that shit. Knock on wood, man, please. But he looked really, really good in this game. So, yeah. All right, incredible. Up next for the Suns. We have 2 consecutive games in a baseball style matchup against a team that we played once upon a time and lost to when they had only 5 wins and were on a 9-game losing streak. That's right, Thursday and Friday, the New Orleans Pelicans. Matthew, thoughts on the Pellies come to town? It's going to be the first time the Suns have played a home game in a fucking long time, because they were on the road before the All-Star game. And then it's going to
I don't even know if there's anyone going to show up. Do they even know the Suns play here anymore? I don't know. I think the fact that they're playing the Pelicans twice in a row, and tonight I thought maybe it was a victory. I was like, oh my God, like we got the Pels, like, and then after this victory, maybe we can get a 3-game winning streak going, or maybe 2 out of 1 or 2 out of 3. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I'll tell you what I was thinking was, I was like, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, the Suns are going to win this. And I can't tell you the last time the Suns won a game and it wasn't on the first night of a back-to-back. I feel like our last 2 or 3 victories, we won the game, and then we had to play a game the next night and we lost because we're 2-10 in back-to-backs this year. So we haven't had like a 2-day just enjoying ourselves as Suns fans. You know, it's like after your team wins a football game, right? When the Cardinals win on a Sunday, you have a good week. You're just happy. You're like, you know what, my team won. You know, and in this case, the Suns, like, they'll win a game. They beat Golden State, but they lost the last night.
Yeah.
The next night they beat Utah. They lost the next night. They beat Chicago. They lost the next night. So I was like, oh, we're going to win this game. And then we're going to have 2 days off and then, you know, maybe some good vibes. And unfortunately they're coming home. This road trip was bad. I think they won just one game. It's like a 1-5 on a road trip that started before the All-Star break. I don't know what to expect against the Pelicans. I honestly don't. I mean, it's a team that has traded away Brandon Ingram. You know, they're definitely a team that's in the middle of trying to figure themselves out. But I mean, if you ever want to figure yourselves out, play the Phoenix Suns, because from a defensive standpoint, you're gonna cook and cook the Pelicans. Most likely will. I feel like a DeJounte Murray game is coming.
When are you saying the 2 games off? When did you 2 days off? Where is that?
Like, we would have won tonight, and we could have enjoyed it all day tomorrow, and then enjoyed it all day on Thursday until that next game.
Oh, until the next game. Okay.
So it's like 2 full days.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, you know what's funny is, like, we would have won, and then Twitter would have been opposite. Where's everybody at? So this team was done. Where are you guys at?
Come
all
on,
you haters.
What are you gonna do from a broadcasting standpoint? I'm going to this game, and because I'm covering it for Brightside, and then the next night I'm gonna be at the Valley Suns game. So that's back-to-back games.
Well, I'm gonna hit up all you guys out there listening right now. I'm probably gonna hit up Suns Geek. I'm probably gonna hit up the Aussies. Suns Planet, whoever's available.
Anybody
Thursday.
but Boyd.
Anybody but Boyd.
Boyd's not allowed on the podcast. Yeah, Boyd is actually really good.
Yeah.
But you can't tell him that because he likes to hang out in our chat and just talk about cock rings and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's why we need him in the chat, not on the show. I think you know what, and maybe I'll go solo on Friday. So if you guys want to have a date night, have it Friday night, because I'll be doing the pod by myself, maybe.
Ooh, have a few drinks before. Make sure there's some dogs barking in the background.
I gotta rewatch that one, dude.
It's funny, man. It's funny. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Another Suns loss. Oh, well, again, it's like I said earlier, man. This is just one of those things where frustration faded away. So just deal with it. It's been replaced by just wanting this season to be over. But subscribe, rate, review, all that fun stuff. We truly appreciate it. Support the show. We're here for you every night. Help us out. Well, I mean, some of us are here every night. I'm not going to be on the next 2. So on that note, Matthew, tell everyone what they need to do.
Love your family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.